Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We are on the test server, and in today's video, as you can see, this big lady in the background, we are going to be looking at Jetney the Giant, the brand new fragment fusion that is going to be starting this Thursday in game, the 11th of May. You'll be able to pick her up. Well, in today's video, we're going to see, is she any good? Is she worthwhile? This will also be a sort of pseudo arena showcase for her partner, Alsgor Crimsonhorn. These two champions have a bunch of abilities that work better together, right? We're going to be checking out him as well. I had a lot of people commenting. I've seen so many comments predicting this guy's going to be a Void Legendary. He's actually a Force Affinity Legendary, but we'll look at him in a minute. Let's look at Jetney first, and I'll break down Alsgor before we dive into some duo fights in the arena. So as we know with Jetney, what does she do? Fairly straightforward. She's an AoE damage dealer. She's got a 4-turn when booked AoE double hitter, puts crit rate and crit damage buffs on her. Extra turn if she kills an enemy with Alsgor. She has a second AoE on a 3-turn, which is going to ignore 20% defense. It's a single hit and will also put out decreased defense. Can't be resisted if Alsgor's on the same team. Double hitter A1 with a chance to stun and then a chance to decrease defense as well. And then her passive is really interesting. 20% more damage against targets under shields, and also ignore shield buffs if Alsgor Crimsonhorn is on the same team. So pretty cool. Well, first and foremost, how hard does she hit? This is the build I've got her in. We've got her with about 6.3k attack, almost 200 speed, 100% crit rate, and 277% critical damage. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a blessing for her. But here we go. Let me put it in context. So for context, let me show you the very recent Fusion Supreme Elhain. This is actually the gear that I usually run on Supreme Elhain, and I actually swapped her blessing because she did have a blessing giving her damage. But I usually run Supreme Elhain in the exact same gear that Jetney is wearing, minus accessories. Supreme Elhain's A3 did about 56,000 right there. We'll run it back again. We're going to look for Helm Smasher procs, right? So I'll run it again. Here we go. I think we get Helm Smasher on a second attempt. Yeah, 85,000, right? So that's the rough damage we're looking at for Supreme Elhain. If we jump over to Supreme Elhain's AoE, yeah, this is her AoE. Here we go. We're looking for damage on the Venus, guys. So watching the Venus, about 38,000 right there. We'll run it back again. Here we go. See it again. Just to give us context, look for Helm Smasher, 37,000. That wasn't it. One more time. There we go. 49,000. 49,000 with Helm Smasher. Helm Smasher makes a huge difference. Let me actually show you the mastery so you guys can see what I'm running on Jetney right here. So for the masteries, what I'm talking about is Helm Smasher, that 50-50 chance to ignore 25% defense. This is so powerful, right? Because we're already running her in a Savage set where she's already ignoring 25%, we start to ignore even more. And it increases the damage even more. So that's what we're looking for. These are the masteries. Fairly standard nuker stuff. Getting more speed for kills. More damage on the first hit. More damage against targets at higher max HP. Helm Smasher. With Jetney, I'm going to make her debuff stronger. Give her a better chance for the debuff, for the decreased defense on her A1. But you could put her in defense as well if you wanted. Let's see Jetney then. So that was Supreme Elhain. Let's see how hard Jetney hits. Here we go. Jetney, she's diving in. X that off. Here we are. So let's see how hard Jetney hits. We're going to go with her A3. 20k, 20k. We're looking at the Venus. So 20k on 2 hits. Let's go in again. We're looking for Helm Smasher procs. So Helm Smasher is going to be a big difference, right? There's always a small variance. I think it's like 5% variance. I'll get 20k, 19k, pretty much the same. We'll go in again a third time. So this is very... Oh, I think I missed it there. Here we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. 19k, 24k. So that 24k is going to be the proc. So we're looking at 20k times 2, so about 40,000 with no Helm Smasher. And she did about 24, 25k. You're looking at about 48 to 50,000 with Helm Smasher. So her A3 is pretty similar to Supreme Elhain's A3. How good is that? Well, Supreme Elhain, her AoE is kind of, it's decent. It's fairly standard for legendaries, but it's nothing crazy. Right? It's not the highlight of her kit. Her highlight is really her other move. Here we go with the A2. How hard's that hit? 47,000 right there. Put decreased defense. So similar, but we're looking for that Helm Smasher proc. Let's see if we can get it. Needs to be bigger, really, to make her shine, doesn't it? Here we go. Needs to be bigger. Ooh, now that's a bit more exciting. 74,000. That's a bigger hit. That's actually a pretty significant hit. That's pretty good. That's comparable to that big single target nuke from Supreme Elhain. I think she did 84,000. Again, we can see the second time 50,000 right there. So, oh, let me actually let this play out. We can see her A1. But yeah, Supreme Elhain, her AoE, not that great. Standard, but not great. I'd say that's exactly how Jetney's A3 is looking. Standard, but not that great. Her A2, though, does look like it can get a proper smack, which is kind of what we expected. And it does make her a bit awkward to build. That's why I built her with 100% crit rate, is that I feel like you really want to be focusing on the A2. The A3 is just kind of there. You can see her A1. It's basically the same damage as her A3, but it's single target instead of AoE. Essentially is what's happening. So it's a pretty decent A1. Again, nothing crazy, but it's decent. Yeah, only 17,000 there on the weaker non-Helm Smasher hit. So I put together a little chart here. You can see Supreme Elhain, her A3, that single target nuke, doing 56, 56, and then 85 at Helm Smasher. Her A3 doing about 38, 37, and then 49 at Helm Smasher. Jetney, you can see her A3 right here. The maximum will be 48k. The lowest would be about 39k. So honestly, it's almost identical to Supreme Elhain's AoE. Her A2 is much stronger, big chunk stronger, not too bad. And then her A1 is, again, it's similar, but not great single target damage. It's only okay, which is sort of what you expect. I did test out Rhonda. Rhonda's A3 was doing somewhere like, so it could do 17 times 2. It could do about 35 to 52k roughly. So it's pretty similar. Rhonda's A3 may be a bit stronger than this one. Pretty similar, though. Jetney's big AoE nuke, though, does have a higher potential than Rhonda's, I do think, with that ignore defense in it. And then, for example, Baron Skypiercer is going to be much stronger, right? Baron Skypiercer is going to be crazy. Kind of what you expect. But Baron, I put Baron in very similar gear, 6k attack, 275% crit damage. And with his Skypiercer ignoring 50% defense, flat baseline, he's hitting way harder. So yeah, she's not going to compete with that Void Legendary. It's sort of what you expect. Let's jump into some arena. Gonna fight this guy first. Here we go. I'm sort of waiting for this to be fixed. Oh, this is actually a little bit awkward. Right, let's go in with this team right here. Here we go. And let me show you Alsgor. Let me show you what he's about. But yeah, initial impressions on Jetney is that yeah, she's got decent AoE damage, 2 AoEs. This AoE has the potential to hit pretty hard, but we need to see it in practice. I'm definitely excited about her anti-shield stuff with Alsgor. What does Alsgor do? What's he about? Her partner. Here he is, Alsgor Crimsonhorn. This guy's got a few interesting abilities. So first and foremost, I think it's Resounding Rally, 4-turn cooldown, block damage on all allies for 2 turns with a full heal on a target ally. Now, that is a really good move. This is like Roshkar the Tower. It's like Helicath. This is big, right? This is big. So he's really a protector. What he also brings in then as well is an AoE buff strip. If Jetney, it's 2 random buffs from all enemies. If Jetney's on the team, he's going to remove all buffs from all enemies, even if the attack lands as a weak hit. That's cool. And he also puts out continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. His A1 heals him and can increase debuffs on the target, and then his passive puts out decreased speed and the chance increases. I think, very simply, this champion is a bit weird, I'm going to be honest. Well, not weird, but he's, I think he's first and foremost a champion designed for Iron Twins, right? But also he can do a bit of arena. You know, he's a bit of a mix, and some Doom Tower, he's a bit of a mix. The AoE block damage, plus this decreased speed passive, and the debuff extension here, that screams to me Iron Twins. The AoE block damage and the debuff extension is also really good for Demon Lord Clan Boss. That's really good too. The continuous heal here is really good for Iron Twins and even Demon Lord Clan Boss, potentially, though more with a killable team with that one. But very good Iron Twins move. When it comes to arena, look, we've got a buff strip with some healing. We do have block damage. I think he's going to be very strong as well in live arena. He's going to be pretty good there, where that flexibility becomes very potent. But he's not like... It's nothing on the level of like a Yumiko, which I think people were expecting. They're expecting this guy to be a Void Legendary equal to Yumiko. He's certainly nothing like that, but he is a very good Legendary. I actually will say this. People are expecting him as the Void Legendary, guaranteed. I think it was possible, but somewhat pretty unlikely. I do think that this champion is definitely a champ that could show up as a guaranteed champion at some point. I think for sure, because specifically for Demon Lord and for Iron Twins, he's so good, and then solid with arena. My inclination, he could show up in a champion training tournament, as a reward for that. That's what I said before. I still stand by that. I think they could do like a 10x on him, a champion training tournament maybe. Then they could eventually do a guaranteed champ for him as well further down the line. We'll see though. We'll see. But let's see him in action first of all. Actually, I need to show you how I built him. Arbiter is just in fairly standard speed gear. We also have a Brogni in here. Brogni is coming in bolster. And he's got triple reaction. He's bolstered, not crazy. He's got good speed, you see. I use this Brogni for PvE content. We're going to throw him in here, though, to give us increased attack, block debuffs, and the shield to protect us. So double bolster, which I think would be quite fun. Also bringing in Elva, who's in Stone Skin, to cleanse us off if we need it. Alsgor, I actually got a blessing on him. He showed up in the shops. He's got 1-star polymorph. I've built him up with 91, almost 92,000 HP, 3.6k defense, and 245 speed. He also has really good accuracy, so he does need a lot of stats. And he does come with very high base resistance. And he does come with a resistance aura, which is a bit funky. Again, I think that's sort of an Iron Twins thing, where you could just ditch the accuracy and build him with just lots of resistance and tankiness and speed for Iron Twins. And I guess he needs accuracy for his A1, though, which you kind of do want to work, I think, with like a Geomancer. Anyway, that's sort of beside the point. We can do a whole video on him, but I put him in bolster to protect, and his masteries are like this, more accuracy and turn meter and stuff. So yeah, let's dive in. So I've put together 2 different team combinations with her. The first one is a fairly standard speed nuke sort of team. Speed boost with Arbiter, then we'll buff strip with Alsgor. We'll try to stun them with Goffred. Goffred can protect as well with his passive. If a Jetney who's squishy is going to die, he'll protect her. So we're running lots of protection here. Then Alsgor buff stripping, and Jetney is going to nuke. Now, this other version, we're going to bring in a cleanser. So this is more of a tanky go second team, where we've got like the cleansing and the reviving and all the healing from Elva. We've got the block damage from Alsgor. We've got Brogni shielding, and he gives us increased attack for Jetney to do her thing. So let's go. Let's play this one on manual. We're up against a fairly nasty team here. The bolster set's going to be really good against Uko. It's going to mean he can't put block buffs on us and so on. So we're going to get nuked at the start. There's her A1 on a counterattack. Pretty okay damage. Nothing too crazy. Again, she's gone in and counterattacked. Nothing too crazy right there. She had decreased attack. We'll cleanse that off. Here we go. Oof, she got smacked down. That's unfortunate. Alsgor is going to come in. Now, he should strip all buffs because she is on the same team. So here we go. Bam. You got turned into a sheep. We got polymorphed. What was the chance? What was the chance? It's a 1-star polymorph. You hate to see it. Of course, he would have been running the blessing. So that's okay, I guess. Let me think. We're going to res her in a turn. She's going to be a little difficult to keep alive. Okay, I'm going to do this A2 first. I'm not too worried about Elva, etc. So let's see. Can we keep her alive? They should not have much AoE coming. Let's revive Jetney. She gets her turn meter pushed back by this Valkyrie. A1s are coming in. Uko's done his thing right there. Okay. Let's hit Uko. He's going to steal buffs. Elva is actually pretty bad against Uko because she keeps putting out buffs. All right, so Jetney gets the turn. Here we go. It is her turn. I think we're going to go in with her big AoE. Ignoring defense, ignoring shields, and putting decreased defense after. Hopefully she doesn't get sheeped. It could happen. How many sheep do they have? They have sheep on everyone. There's a pretty good chance she's sheep, though, but let's see how hard she hits. She will ignore all of the shield buffs. I think she should do 20% bonus damage because they've got shields on as well. Put it to 1x speed. Here we go. Boom. That was like 120k right there. Blew them up, though. Did the job. Jetney comes in. Max pretty darn hard right there. That's not bad. That is not bad. And I think that is sort of the strength of this champion. That being said, of course, we had to combo her there with Alsgor to ignore the shield. If she wasn't ignoring the shield, it would have been much harder to kill them, but she would have had the bonus damage. So, not a bad combo right there. Oh, excellent. Okay, so this is somewhat fixed. Oh, this is going to be super nasty. I don't think we stand a chance here. Yeah, unfortunately, as you can see, the test server, it just reset. I'm in the way. The ranking period, it just reset because I'm recording it this morning. So there is nobody in Platinum. So I think the only way, that's actually something I didn't know, but it seems to only populate the arena list when people actually log into the game, which I thought was kind of funny. So until people actually log on, can't find people to fight. So I'll pause the video and I'll be right back. You know, I actually realized we should do a fight against Scratch here. I think we're almost definitely going to lose this one. Number one, it's Scratch. The level of his gear is going to be insane. He's got 3-star awakening on all these, +1 on these champions as well. And they're just going to be better champions, to be honest. We'll give it a go, though. So let's give it a go. One funny thing is that Goffred, as you guys probably know, Rotus does ignore block damage on his A3. But weirdly, Goffred actually just stops the damage of the hit and then puts block damage on. So this does actually stop one time the Rotus A3. So that gives us somewhat of a chance. Let's go in. Let's give it a go. Unfortunately, again, the block damage from our boy here is not going to be super effective. And Uko's really going to mess us up. Let's see. We're probably even going to be outsped by his Sifi, which is embarrassing. I'm sorry, it's embarrassing, but it's true. Let's give it a shot. See what happens here. It's about 2 times speed. But don't get outsped. Oh, we're outsped by the stone skin. Sifi. Scratch. Why are you like this? Scratch. Please. Please no. Okay, so we can't cleanse her off, which is annoying. I don't think we bother putting the block damage on. I think we go for a buff strip here. We strip all their buffs. No sheep this time. You know, we got sheeped by the 1-star sheep before. That's randomness for you, isn't it? We could go in and protect. I'm actually going to go with the stun. See if we can stun the Sifi and the Necret. This is risky because we could be sheeped. In fact, I don't know if we can do this, because if we're sheeped, we won't stop the Rotos. So I think we actually do need to put on increased defense instead. We can't risk being sheeped. Now, she does not have increased attack on, so I'm not confident that she's going to kill. Let's go in with this anyway. It's going to trigger the Rotos, but we can live with that. Let's go with her AoE hit. Then the next turn, we can go in with another AoE and potentially get an extra turn with this double hit. So let's soften them up and, like I said, probably trigger Rotos because we're going to ignore shield and hit them fairly hard. Unfortunately, that did turn her into a sheep, and that's not good. That is a big problem, a very big problem with this champion. Let's not beat around the bush. That is very, very bad. Here we go. We're going to get an ally attack. Doesn't do much damage to Arbiter, but she's about to run out of her bolster shield. That didn't actually hit that hard, weirdly. I mean, we might as well put out the block damage, I guess. Sure. I don't know. Let's heal the sheep. 75,000 healing on the sheep. I guess we can go for the stun. Oh, he's sheeped as well. Scratch! Scratch! Don't sheep Arbiter. Okay, good. Oh, man. This could take a while, boys. This could be a long fight. This could be very long. I'm scared to even use her A1. Let me see. I guess Sifi's probably got some resistance. Yeah, okay, we're okay. Actually, it did make her heal, though, which is not ideal. His A1 doesn't do really much. It can extend debuffs. I mean, let's hit this jerk, I guess. Let's out a shield on him. We could, of course, be stunned. I was going to say, we could be stunned at any point by Uko as well, which would be bad. There we go. The sheep ally attack coming in clutch. But now we're really in trouble, because I'm pretty sure Jetney just dies. I probably shouldn't have done that move with Arbiter, actually. I'm pretty sure, though, Rotus is probably just going to A3 Jetney and then one-shot Arbiter as well. So we got wrecked by sheep here. But I think it's also good to see that. It's good to see that that is how... That's how the high-end arena works. Okay, here we... Oh, he's got an A3 Arbiter. So I was wrong. He killed her with an A1, and then he's popped into his stuff. But, yeah, so, I mean, this sort of team is going to struggle against that sort of team. That's fair enough. We could, we could switch it up. I could maybe bring in a Yumiko and stuff. It's just going to be kind of awkward. That's a good defense. Let me be honest. That's just a good defense. We're going to have a tough time. All right, Senda has also logged onto the test server, but unfortunately, and Corey has logged onto the test server, but unfortunately, people want to make my job hard here. People are not going to put in defenses that we can attack. Well, one-man defenses. So back to the waiting board. I'll see you guys in 2 seconds. All right, guys, so I'm just back from walking the dog, and the test server has been updated. So yes, now we can actually fight everyone on the test server. So I've got a few fights that I'll play in the background here while I'll give you sort of my final thoughts on this champion. Obviously, I know how these fights go. Yeah, it'll be pretty interesting, I think. In this team, you can see we're up against, again, shielding with Valkyrie, which I think is kind of a nifty way to go into it. And we have the advantage with Alsgor of being able to potentially protect against the damage from the Solus. But then the downside that, oof, look at that absolutely huge smack from Solus. Killed us through the bolster, which is absolutely insane. We still have to deal with Kymar stripping our buffs as well. So it's sort of super awkward for us to actually survive. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting fight. They have shielding from Valkyrie. They have lots of damage that we can potentially block with block damage. Our buff strip is going to be useful as well. Brogni can get sheeped, so that's always good. And you can also see one of the weaknesses for sure of Jetney, that she is extremely squishy. We have 2 bolster set champions here protecting her, and then she still got killed through it. So she is super squishy. And I definitely think there's a block damage actually doing work, protected us this time, and then we get stripped. I do think that this champion, one thing she's definitely not S tier. Here we go. We get to nuke them. We don't have increased attack. How hard can we hit? Still pretty hard. We still did a lot of damage as she gets one shot with increased defense, to be fair. Counterattack does kill her. So she's not the best of the best, right? Which is straightforward. I think people still expect that sometimes, though. They're like, man, why is my fusion not as good as Baron or Jorgid or whatever of like the absolute best champions in the game? And they never do that. She's not S tier. But she certainly does do damage, though she is squishy, and she's Spirit Affinity. Look, I think for me, one of the most interesting questions is she better than Rhonda or Supreme Elhain? Rhonda, very recent free, login legendary. Supreme Elhain, here we get to see her A3. Pretty good. Supreme Elhain, very recent fusion, Void Affinity. My opinion, having done this, is she can certainly hit hard. She can. I don't think she is as good as Supreme Elhain overall, who's a very recent nuker fusion. And, you know, I took my gear off of Supreme Elhain to put onto Jetney, right? And you can't duplicate your gear. You're not going to have your best gear for both champions. It's just not possible. I think overall Supreme Elhain is better as that sort of direct counter to Hegemon, unless they're under Veil and you can't target them like they would be in this circumstance. So I do think Supreme Elhain is better overall, and she can farm campaign extremely well, Nightmare campaign. She can solo farm Minotaur for you. I feel like Supreme Elhain is a bit more generally useful. I think it's quite funny actually that she was so hated, honestly, at the time. Not hated, but people find her really disappointing. I feel like if you felt Supreme Elhain was disappointing, you're going to feel the same thing about this. Again, I would say Supreme Elhain overall is like an A-tier nuker. As a really good single target nuker with extra turn mechanics built in and a good solid AoE attack as well. Void Affinity, which is very useful. So I think that she does that stuff well. I think Jetney overall is probably a bit of a B. She's a lot better with Alsgor on the team. She's a lot better with him on the team because, you know, then she can come in and actually ignore shields, which is a pretty big deal. Alsgor, I think he's okay. I think he's decent, but when you look at his kit, he's very clearly much more built for Iron Twins specifically. I think the interesting thing is that Alsgor is so clearly good for Iron Twins, and he's also going to be good just as in a Helicath type manner for just anyone progressing through the game, bringing that 2-turn block damage on a 4-turn cooldown. That's so useful for Demon Lord clan boss, for Doom Tower bosses. I would not be surprised. I definitely think at the very least you're going to see 10x events for Alsgor. I think there's a strong chance for a champion training event for Alsgor, and so on. So, yeah, I think, could he show up as a guaranteed champion? I think there's a decent chance eventually that he could. I think he could. And certainly having Jetney then, they could be a very good combo for Live Arena in particular, because he is still a powerful champion for Live Arena. Not perfect. He's not as good as Helicath, I don't think, but it's hard to judge, right? I don't think he's as good as Helicath, but I don't know, the utility of the buff strip is kind of nice as well. Just sheep is going to be a problem. Yeah, and like, look, Jetney can certainly hit really hard. She's a nuker. Here we go. Let's see her here. Boom, boom. Big damage from that. And then she's ready to go in. Actually, he's got stone skin, so we can't. We'll just A1. He's gonna sneeze. Oh God. Oh, my nose. Gotta get this. I can't edit it out either because I gotta get this video up on time. I don't want it to be super delayed. But yeah, look, she's super squishy. But her affinity could be a positive thing, right? And I think it is generally. She's going to be weak against Elva, who I've got here, who's a magic affinity tanky reviver. But like the more popular tanky revivers are their spirit affinity with Duchess, or their void with Sifi, etc. So look, there are all the fights right there. I think Jetney I think she's pretty solid, actually. I think she's pretty solid. She does good damage, but for me, she's probably like a B tier overall nuker. Does really good damage. She's got some good ignore defense. Doesn't hit anywhere near as hard as Baron. 2 AoEs are useful. She's got very nice combo with Alsgor, but it's a bit more of a question mark of will you be able to get him. For me, I can tell you I will definitely get her, but I'm a content creator, so it's different. But it's a fragment fusion. I think the cost for me to get her is going to be so low. Even worst case scenario, I mean, worst case scenario, hey, I waste a few shards and maybe do some dungeons I didn't want to do. Like, it doesn't cost me very much, but it might cost you a lot more. It might be much more valuable for you to skip a fusion, to be fair, right? But for me, I'm definitely going to grab her because there's the possibility of an Alsgor guaranteed or a champion training event that I could potentially win. So I think that's sort of valuable, and they could be quite fun for live arena or future stuff. But look, I think it's pretty straightforward. What is she? She's a good damage dealer, Spirit Affinity. Basically it. Bearing in mind, you do have Rhonda for sure. You could have Supreme Elhain. There's Yannicka from the clan shop who's Spirit Affinity that can ignore shields on one of her moves. So I think this one's a bit more of a question mark. It will sort of depend for me on the cost, and I will do that. Stay tuned on Thursday when this goes live, or the fusion goes live. I will do a full breakdown of how much it's going to cost you, and I can let you know more then. But yeah, for me, she gets like a sort of middle thumbs up, I suppose, of being a solid nuker. But Ronda Supreme Elhain, you've got overall probably slightly better nukers that have come in recently that you might already have. And how many nukers do you need? I don't know. How many nukers can you even build? We'll see. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.